Hey guys, welcome to my channel.
Dan,
Got Randy, we're at the pizza shop here.
how are you? Good
No
seeing you.
live though.
Yeah,
It's
no live.
recorded.
No live.
It'll come soon.
But we're live. We're
Yeah.
live.
So we are gonna actually talk about the Guyger case.
She's going to.
Well, I'm gonna just kind of inform him on some stuff because he hasn't heard what's going on in the trial. It was a long trial. I mean, well, it's still not even over right now. I mean, they think they're not sure. They went in today and did it. And basically, they let me hold on a second.
I can see the comments now. Dude, that guy doesn't know shit. Why do you keep having him on here?
It's fun having somebody to discuss it with. So today, what they did is the defense had they had like a hearing to basically get like their expert witness approved, or expert witnesses approved.
Okay, yes.
And they had an expert witness, and they limited, because the prosecution just objected, anyway, they limited to like, where he only could say a few things. So anyway, so what happens is we thought they were going to come back and like then have the jury, because the jury isn't present when we do have the hearing. And then we thought they were going to have him come back and then he was going to testify, they're going to ask him questions. But here they came back and they said they're going to continue Monday. So if you watch the channel that's broadcasting our live trial, they'll, like during breaks, they'll have like, the girl will have like a judges there to kind of, tell the public their thoughts on, everything that's going on.
Yeah,
She
how
has like
they
a
think
different
it's
one.
going to take a twist
Yeah, or
turn,
what stuff
where it's
means,
gonna go.
because they'll
Okay,
like talk about like maybe why a judge would have done something like that,
Yeah,
or what it
yeah.
means, or what the hearing is, what they think about it. So they think that that basically what happened is, we don't know yet, but what happened is the judge she had on today thought that the defense is probably just going to rest. That one day they're going to rest because the expert that they had today, that they had a hearing for, they said they probably just decided not to use it because they basically limited what he could say to one thing. So they said it probably wasn't worth having him because the prosecution, what is it called?
Re-exam. Cross-exam.
What is that called?
I don't know.
I don't know. Yeah, the prosecution re-exam or whatever it's called.
Redirect
Or whatever. They might actually hurt him. So they think maybe they're just going to rest Monday, and then I don't know if the prosecution is going to rest then, and then the jury will deliberate. I don't know. But let's back up a little bit. I just wanted to tell you where we're at right now. So they did go. They had court there. Because remember we were asking, did they do it on the weekends? Not on Sunday, but Saturday. They did it today. Yeah. Oh, today's Sunday. They did it yesterday. Oh my God, today's Saturday.
They had it on Saturday.
They had it on Saturday, yeah.
Wow, I didn't know that. Oh, see, you learn something new every day.
Yeah. I've been learning a lot watching these trials, like law stuff. Like, I'm not a lawyer. I don't know a ton, but just watching it and how, like, different terms and just different things I've been learning about. Okay, so those of you that are not familiar with this case, Amber Guyger is the Dallas police officer who went into the wrong apartment thinking it was her apartment and shot Botham was his name. She shot him thinking he was an intruder. He was a robber, doing something in her apartment, basically broke into her apartment, she thought, okay? So she lived on the 3rd floor. Botham lived on the 4th floor, okay? So, but they brought in so many witnesses that lived, I think it was on the south side flats or whatever, south side apartments, the apartment complex. So many people, I think they said they interviewed, like a couple hundred people, I think it was. And so they said, I think these numbers might not be perfect, but I can't remember. They may not be exact, but they're going to be close enough. Sorry, I didn't take any notes on this. I watched the whole trial, but I didn't take notes. I wish I would have this time. But anyway, so I think around 96 people on the whole apartment complex actually got off on the wrong floor. Because what happens is they park on the wrong floor thinking they're on the wrong floor and just walk in and they think it's their floor. And it's all, the hallways are exactly the same.
Yeah, I
And
get that
there's
with parking decks.
And there's only this little number. It's almost hidden. It's crazy. They have this little sign above beside each door. The numbers are on the door. And there's this little number. There's a bunch of LED lights, and the number's in between one of the lights. And it's like lit up, and it's like in between, so it kind of blends in. So
We're talking about on the parking deck.
no, this is in their beside their room. Yeah,
Okay.
beside their each apartment. Okay.
Gotcha.
So anyway, so I think 96 people got off on the wrong floor. I think they said 46 people actually walked up. How is this? 46 of them got mixed up in between the third and fourth floors, and that's what she did. And I think they said 30-some people actually put their key into the wrong door, and then it turns red. You know what I'm saying? And then they couldn't open it because it was wrong. Like I said, my numbers might not be exact, but it's somewhere around. A lot of people. And they brought a lot of witnesses. People lived there. They, said, yeah, I walked into the. All right. I parked on the wrong floor. I walked to the wrong door. Some people put the key in the wrong door. Some of their witnesses. The one guy actually, the person, he left his door unlocked. He went to walk his dog. Left his door unlocked. Went to the wrong floor. This person had the door unlocked. Walks in, lets the dog off the leash. Walks all the way in. Okay, he walks all the way in. He had a roommate though. He sees a purse on the counter. He still thinks, oh, maybe it's my roommate's friend. No big deal.
Goes in the
Walks
red.
farther. He said it even smelled a little weird. He thought, man, I gotta find this smell in my apartment. And then he sees a lady sitting on the couch, and then he realizes, oh shoot, I'm in
It
the wrong
smells like a
apartment.
woman. What the hell
He
is
said,
this?
oh, I'm sorry, I'm in the wrong apartment. So it happens. It was a really common thing, and since then, they have like, now they have big like numbers on the garages now, like right where you walk in, and I think they like redid some things so people don't
Yeah.
have that mistake and don't do that. They walk into the wrong apartment. But anyway, it was just really common that they park on the wrong floor. And then once you're on that floor and you think you're on a certain floor, you just walk in and you just, and you just go by where your partner would be on the on a different floor. So it's very reasonable that somebody could do that.
Sure, that's like, you go anywhere else, though. Hospital, casino, any place in the parking decks, it happens all the time.
Yeah. And of course, the prosecution's making big deals about, well, the rugs were different. It was an outside rug, and just like making all these big deals where sometimes when you're on automatic mode, like you don't even notice those things. And then you can also be like somebody just put out the rug if it's different that day, or somebody took in the rug if the rug wasn't there. But there was a red rug outside of his door, which would be her door.
Mm-hmm.
So they're making a big deal. I didn't notice that red rug that you didn't have. But I still think
In all
it's
honesty,
still very good.
In all honesty, I mean, like I said, she's a law enforcement, or was. She got fired, yes.
Probably, I don't know.
Hope she gets reinstated, but
Wow.
if right. But no, I mean, as a police officer, you have to put yourself in their shoes. My Lord, man, what they go through in a day. I mean,
She just got done working like over, what was it, 12 hours? Over 12 hours.
I mean, what the hell? I don't really think that she's paying attention to the fucking freaking carpet. She did, because it said, she had her heavy vest. She had her, lunch backpack. She also had her
Lunchbox all in
bag.
Yeah.
So, she's just trudging on the third floor. She's, oh my God, is the day going to be over? Unfortunately for her, it wasn't. And unfortunately for that poor gentleman, too. What was his name again? Mr. Botham. No. I don't think a color of a rug would make really, even though it's red, I don't think that she would be paying attention to it.
No, obviously she wasn't. I feel like they did a good job proving that it was reasonable that somebody could walk into the wrong apartment. So, they go through all these witnesses, the Rangers. Dallas has this thing, they're called Rangers, like a special. How you classify what they do. The Rangers, Dallas Rangers, are a special force. Is that what you call it? Like they're not like a.
Yeah, probably a little task force or something.
Yeah. So the lead detective was a ranger. So anyway, they went through all the some of those witnesses, and I just want to say my opinion. I do not like the prosecutor. well, any of the prosecutors, or the main one. If I don't like any of them, I know people are going to disagree with me, but I think they're rude, and I know they are probably supposed to be. They're insensitive, and I personally feel like this judge is favoring them. Like every time he objects to everything, he objects to so much stuff, and she always sustains it. She always agrees with the objection. I don't want to say always, but most of the time she does. And the defense is having trouble getting some of their experts cleared. Because the guy is saying, the prosecution, when they do the hearing, and they have to basically qualify to be an expert. And one guy was qualified, they just did Saturday. He's testified in federal trials, he's testified in thousands of state court trials or whatever. So he's testified in like thousands of state hearings. He just did a federal one. And the prosecution will like question his expertise, like, well, what studies? What is the studies that you do? Why does this make you an expert? How many people were in this study? Well, you know that what did he quote from one of the journals? Well, that's been argued as a pseudoscience, and you could almost, I feel like you could argue any publication's fault. They're all going to have some faults, okay? So nothing's perfect. No experiment is perfect. So it just makes me kind of angry that he is definitely qualified, but the prosecution is basically trying to call him out that he's not qualified. Discredit him. So, and what is she kind of sides with them, and he was only allowed to testify one little part about like, I forget what he called it, it's almost like that television where you like block out everything else. He was only allowed to testify on this little bit. She limited him because the prosecution is like, well, what journal? How are you an expert? Well, what journals makes you, how do you know about this? What journals have you read? How many people were in it? And what else? I don't know. He was just questioning. It just made me so mad because the thing is he would probably call on him to be an expert in another hearing, but just, you know what I'm saying? Just not if it's going to go against what he's saying, you know? So that's what I was saying. So they limited him so much that they were supposed to come back and he was supposed to testify today, and they ended it today and said they'll come back Monday. So that's what I'm saying. They think the one judge after thinks that maybe the defense is going to arrest him, not bring him, because it could do more harm than anything because he wasn't allowed to testify what he wanted to, you know? So I don't know. I just think it's unfair. And even the Ranger Armstrong, they limited him. He was going to be an expert on some stuff, and they limited him. And she went for what, the prosecution said, well, no, he can only do this and this and this. He can't do like reasonable. So basically, Armstrong wanted to testify that he didn't believe there was a crime. He was limited that he didn't believe there was a crime. He couldn't do that. They couldn't, even this expert from Saturday wanted to say basically it was reasonable for, because he's done so many, he was not only an officer, he teaches classes, he does a study, he has so many different qualifications, okay? Working with police officers, and so he wanted to kind of say it like it was reasonable for a police officer to act like this in a situation like this from his experience, because he's done a lot of cases where there's police officer shootings or whatever.
Police officer.
And so he wanted to basically say in his experience that she acted the way like a lot of police officers would reasonably act in a situation like that, basically. I hope I'm saying this right from what he was saying. And he wasn't allowed to say that, because the prosecution was like, well, you can't say what was in her mind. And the defense is like, we're just saying generally as a police officer, did she act reasonably as, like, from your experience, what a police officer is trained and what they would normally do. And no, he wasn't allowed to say that. So, I don't know, I just think it's very unfair. She keeps favoring the prosecution.
I sort of don't get why they wouldn't let us explain what an officer is trained to do. Because I feel that, let's see, that does bring up a question too, even though it's a long day, hard day, she's going to do all kinds of crap. You would like to think that a police officer, under any circumstances, when they draw their weapon, you think that, I mean, you think you'd be safe to, but you're not, of course, a lot of times. That the officer should have the ability to restrain themselves and be patient until you actually see that person.
Well, see, maybe I should go over, maybe I should go over the situation before I start talking about these details. Because we're talking about like these details, maybe I should say her testimony first before I start talking about this.
Yeah, maybe.
So what actually happened, right?
Yeah.
Because you keep talking what happened, so let's get a better, Yeah, I just wanted to kind of set up like, okay. I guess I'm starting from, so because she didn't testify till the 5th day, so we're just kind of trying to look up to it. But anyway, yeah, I guess so anyway, so let's just go. Let me back up here. Well, on day 5, she testified at the beginning of the day. She was the first witness. So they bring her up, and until then, nobody actually knew kind of what happened. In her words, because she was the only witness there to see what happened.
Of course.
So everybody, I guess, was just
and the 911
on the
calls.
scene. Yeah, but before that,
Yeah.
So what her story is, they kind of have her reenact it to kind of show what she does. Did you see that part now?
No.
So, the lawyer gets up with her and has her kind of show what she does. So she has her heavy vest in her left arm. She has her lunchbox and her bat on her left arm. Because she said she would always try to keep her right arm, her gun arm, that's how they go, gun arm open, just a habit. So she's walking up to her door, to what she thinks is her door, right? And now she said this all kind of happened almost like in one motion, it was almost a couple seconds all happened together. Where she said she put her key in the door, but as she was putting the key in the door, she noticed the door was latched. Well, they found out that door had a latching problem, it didn't always latch closed to lock. So anyway, she puts her key in the door, and as she's putting the key in the door, it starts to open. Okay. And at all the same moment, as she's doing that, she hears a rustle inside, so she feels like there's a threat. So she realizes, see, this is where it's kind of clear. It's like she realizes the door was not latched at the same time as she's putting the key in, and it opens as she's putting the key in, and she's hearing the noise inside. It's like she's almost describing it as all happened in one moment, and so the door kind of pushes open a little bit. So she opens. So now she knows there's a threat inside. She hears a little rustle around. She opens the door with her left hand with all her stuff. She kind of pushes it open. And when she opens the door, she heard that noise, and she sees him back at the very back window, the back of the apartment. She said he's kind of just rustling around, which I think he probably heard this noise in the door open. He probably stood up because there was a bowl of ice cream, so it looks like he was probably just sitting down on his laptop. He had his earphones and eating his ice cream.
Yeah.
He had just got his wisdom teeth out, so he was just allowed to have ice cream that day because he had to have all liquids and it was just okay to have ice cream. Okay? So he probably heard that door open and seen the light, from the hallway. So he got up and he's probably at the back. She said he's kind of just moving around. She gets her gun, she points it. Remember, this is her story. She points, the gun, and she says, show me your hands, she says it twice. And he comes at her, not running, but kind of a fast pace saying, hey, kept saying, hey, which is reasonable for somebody because this is his apartment, right? So I'm not saying she thought it was her apartment, but it wasn't. So this is his apartment, so, he's probably who is this woman? So yeah, of course, it is reasonable to think that he came after her hey. And she said, she felt threatened. She shot her twice, okay? She said she couldn't see his hands, so it's they say they're trained to look at your hands, okay? So when she said, show me your hands, and he should have went like this, instead he kind of just kept walking towards her saying, hey, he was and so she felt threatened because she thought it was her apartment, and she shoots him twice. It's called a double tap, she said they're trained to do. So one hits him and one doesn't. Okay, so she said after that, she said she went to go kneel beside her, and I guess when did I forget. So she started walking, and it was shortly after that when she went she was going up to, and then she realized it wasn't her apartment. I don't remember if it was after she kneeled beside him.
Wow,
Now I
that's
forget.
tragic.
But she started walking, and she realized it wasn't her apartment, and she turned on the lights, and was, oh my God, this isn't my apartment. So she kneeled down beside him. She said, she called 911. She said while she's on call with 911 with her left, she was on the call with her right hand. With her left hand, she was doing, the compressions, and they made a big deal, which it is a big deal. Prosecution said, you should have been doing life-saving, measures. You should have been doing CPR on him. But I disagree. She needed to call 911 to get the proper help.
Yeah,
What do
no,
you
I
think? I don't understand why the defense
I mean,
didn't
you
say
could-
you need the immediate. And she was doing both, but she needed to get 911 there. And when they asked her where she was at, so she said she was doing left hand. She was just doing compression. She said she's never done CPR before, only on dummies, so she didn't know how to do it. She knew how. Never did it on a person before. But when they asked her where she was, she didn't know where she was. Because when she realized it wasn't her apartment, so she had to go outside the apartment and look at the room number. Okay? So she had to leave him, which they made a huge deal, but she had to get the ambulance there. I think that was the number one priority. I don't think it was to give him CPR because she needed to get him to the hospital. I get that.
Yeah, you're
They're
right.
making a big deal, like why wasn't she doing that? I think number one is get them there, get the ambulance there. So she walked out to get the room number. She tells him the room number. Then she said she went back in and was doing a sternum rub, while she was still talking on 911. She started 911 this whole time, right? And then of course they asked her, well, why didn't you do, the prosecution asked her, why weren't you giving him CPR? He should have been doing CPR with him. And she goes, I didn't really know how to. I just needed somebody there quick. That's all. I just needed somebody there quick. She said, I knew like the sternum rub, sometimes would wake people up, so she was doing that. But this is where she screwed up. While she was on the phone with 911, she texted her partner that she was having an affair with, who was married with kids, texted him twice. And this is look bad on her part. Nobody's perfect, okay, but this is bad. She's calling 911 and then she should be giving him CPR, I guess. She texts him twice saying, hurry up, I effed up, come, please hurry. But in her defense, she was trying to get more help there. She said she was afraid. She's used to having a partner. When she's in these situations, she always has a partner. You know what I'm saying? So she wanted somebody there. She wanted her partner. So, her reasoning was that she wanted him there to help her, So, I don't know. I mean, was it the smartest thing to text him? No. But was her intention bad? No. Her intention was to get more help. Okay?
I mean, it does.
So, and the thing is and they ended up calling it like a officer assist. When she called 911, they put out officer assist. So the officers were there within I think it was like 2 minutes or 3 minutes. So I think she did. She did do a couple compressions. She did the sternum rub. And by that time, the officers were there. She had to walk out and look at the room number. So she really wouldn't have much time to do the CPR that they wanted her to do so bad. She had to get the location, right? How do you feel?
Well, first and foremost, this is just tragic.
It is.
I feel terrible for both of the parties and, and their families. And this happened. Bob's family. Yeah, no, it's just tragic. But I see, there you go. And this is where the prosecution, it's just nobody freaking knows how you would freaking react unless if you were in that moment. Nobody.
It's a lot easier to say
Nobody.
you should have done this, you should have done
this,
that.
exactly.
And
Because
it's
I was just sitting there with a ridiculous look on my face. You're kidding me. She's took the time to text. Her lover, or ex-boyfriend, whatever.
But it wasn't like I love you, it was like hurry up,
That's
come
what I'm
on,
saying.
yell.
That's what I'm saying, and I do get, people think like that, but.
That was her partner too.
Right,
so.
yeah, there you go. You gotta be in that moment. So I really can't, and this is where, I guess, the justice system, man, it really does suck because if it went down the way this officer says it did, it really does suck because it's not gonna get any better for her at this moment, And it's a shame because if it really did happen like that, I sort of get the feeling of, that's like somebody putting you into an insane asylum when you're not crazy, but you act crazy because you're trying to prove to them there's something wrong with you. This person's trying to, lock me away for no reason at all. It's like venture thing or whatever. And you just come across crazy. And it's just, it just sucks.
I just think.
In the moment.
I know. I just think
it's a shame. Yeah.
I think she did do like what she could have done. I think she did do a lot already. She got 911. They were there in a couple minutes. She did do some compression. She did a sternum up. She went outside to look at the room number. How much more time? And then the cops were there. So how much more time? There wasn't much time to do that. Then they started CPR right away. So I don't understand that, really. Everybody keeps saying that. Well, she shouldn't do CPR. She did. But she did do it with one hand. She had to call 911. That would be the first priority, is to get him to a hospital. I think.
Well, there you go. Well, you gotta be involved. I can't. I really.
Yeah. And so on the 911 call, she kept saying,
I thought it
was my apartment. I thought it was my apartment. She could tell she wasn't in the right state of mind. Like, she's human. Okay, yeah, she's a cop, and she's maybe used to some of this, seeing some of this stuff. But you could tell, like, she was so disoriented. Like, when she did that, she was like in shock. Because all she kept repeating on the 911, I thought it was my apartment. 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 She kept saying it over and over. She was not right. So, she was in this shock. Mentally, she was in shock. And so I think she acted pretty quick being in this shock. I know people are going to say, well, she's a cop. She should know how to handle that stuff. But she did. She called 911. She got him there. She did CPR a little bit is what she could. Her biggest mistake was texting her partner, but it was not bad intention. She texted him. She wanted help. She wanted him there to help block her, And
shit hits the media, and then all of a sudden it just explodes. And all of a sudden she texts her lover while they get one guys later dying. Yeah.
I mean, it does look bad, but is her intention bad? No, her intention was to get more help there. And the thing is I feel like, is she a killer? No, she's not a killer. Did she want to kill an innocent man? No, it was an honest mistake. And I know it's so sad that somebody died, an innocent man's died. Well, why take another life away? She's only 31 years old. Why take her life away too? She obviously feels sorry for what she did. I believe, like, when I watched her testimony, I feel like definitely real tears, definitely real emotion. There was tears dripping down her face. They say, like, if somebody's faking it, you can almost tell because you don't feel that emotion, like you won't even feel it. But I felt it. When I watched her, like, I got teared up, I got emotional. I felt so bad for her. Like, I feel like she was being sincere. It was real tears. It was real emotion. And then people keep saying it wasn't even emotional after she did it. Bull crap! They have all the police body cam footage. She had sweat dripping on her face. She was just like, you caught her a couple times on it, and she was a wreck. Are you kidding me? She was emotional as crap. To me, she was so emotional. She's like, I thought it was my apartment. I thought it was my apartment. If that is an emotion, I don't know what is. I mean, it was very emotional, I think. And yeah, she wasn't bawling, crying, but she was like in this shock. You know what I'm saying? And then she got a hassle about, the prosecution, and, they're drilling her about, like, afterwards, they took her out of the ring because, there's so many officers involved, they get her away, so the sergeant,
So was this poor man DOA?
No, I don't think so, no, because they, I don't know, actually. I know they said when the first cops got there and they started giving CPR, they said he was breathing very shallow. But he was never responsive.
Yeah. That's just, what do you call that? What type of situation is that? Situation like violent relationship?
Oh yeah, the sentence out now.
I know lots of words. I'm sorry, guys.
But I just don't think that she should. Maybe a punishment. Yeah, maybe a couple of years in jail. But I don't think she should get life in jail.
No, see, I don't even.
I don't think so, but I know if I say no jail, I'm gonna hear it.
Well, I mean,
But-
so here, I mean, that's it is what it is. You know,
she's not gonna, she's not gonna get a job again.
You know,
I mean, you know,
feel-
nobody, Dallas isn't gonna keep going after this. So she's already lost her passion, her job. There's no way they're
But
gonna
if
let
she
her.
is acquitted of it, I
If
mean,
she's not guilty, I don't think they would let her be a police officer out here. So I really don't. So she already, you know.
I've seen Stranger Things. I've seen.
No, I don't know. I personally, if I had, you know, if I had the power to just get her charged, I wouldn't send her to jail at all. I really wouldn't.
Well, you know, a punishment, but just but nothing drastic as to
No, like
if this is how it going down and the evidence shows it, and what I don't know what evidence they have. But yeah, no, if it comes up to where it's like she says, very unfortunate though, but yeah, I feel that I don't think she deserves jail time.
No, I don't either. I know
mean,
some.
my lord, the woman's already
But real quick, do you have a town? I can't even find a town. Okay, but you know the prosecution called her a liar right up on the stand. This is another thing. Why didn't the defense object to that? He called her a liar and said she did not say "show me your hands, show me your hands." He flat out called her a liar up on the stand. So you didn't say that. I don't know exactly how he said it, but basically called her a liar.
Yeah.
But he didn't say it because you know why? Because none of the neighbors heard it. But the neighbors have said countless times. Well, a bunch of neighbors said that you couldn't hear anything in the apartments. It's only when people were out in the hallway you could hear people. Okay, they said that. They have witnesses that said that. She was inside the apartment. That she could have said that and they didn't hear. Okay, and then he said.
Yeah, nobody's gonna
He
hear
said,
shit. Probably
someone said something like,
attention
well,
to
you know
anything
you
until
screened
next
it. You know you don't have that, when you're out on your job, you have a, basically said that she wouldn't have said it that soft, she would have screamed it. He screamed it. She said, no, I said it just like how I said it, how she when she was with her attorney, she said how she said it, show me your hands, show me your hands. He said, no, you would have screamed it, and obviously you didn't. She said, no, I said it affirmative and loud, but I didn't scream it like you did it, I didn't scream it. And he basically said, no, she didn't. He called her a freaking liar. And the defense didn't even object to that. And it just doesn't, I feel like they should have said, I don't know what objection, what the reason is, but you can't call somebody a liar up on the stand. I don't think you can do that, right?
Well, you can. I mean,
It's just not
you can do
right.
whatever you want to, but it's just the outcome. It's
So, I don't even know what else to say. I just don't, I don't know, I do not like that process. I don't like any of the prosecutors, especially the main one. I just feel, I feel like the judge is going to favor, she is favoring the prosecution, and I feel like, yeah, it's up to the jury, guilty or not guilty, but she's the one that picked the
beyond a
sentence.
reasonable doubt.
No, I'm saying, but she gets to pick the sentence. So if she gets, guilty of something, and
Who
it
gets a big percent?
the judge.
Oh yeah.
I'm saying
yeah.
if she gets some kind of sentence, and it's
That's
like
what you're talking about.
maximum 20 or maximum life, I feel like she's gonna give her the maximum. Because I mean not the maximum. I mean, she's just gonna be hard on her. I don't know. I just feel like she's not being fair.
Is this trial going on in the same city as the crime occurred?
Yeah, I think so. I'm pretty sure.
I-
And like I said, the lead investigator said he doesn't think there was a crime committed, and they wouldn't even let him testify to that.
Well, not yet. I'm sure.
No, he's not allowed to say that. Without a hearing, you can't say that. And he was the lead investigator. You can't say that it was reasonable for somebody to do that. And I don't know. It's just I don't know. I just feel like they're not being fair. And I feel like her defense, the one is like really slow. I feel like I don't know. The one is bald with glasses. He's so slow to get a sentence out. He'll be like, well, see, if you, and it's like, come on, no, the defense. And I keep thinking, wonder if she's sitting there like, I screwed up, I shouldn't have done this. But the judges, the person, when they, whatever the station is that's putting out this trial, when she interviews the judges, they keep saying how that she has great lawyers, they're really well known, and they're really good, but I don't know. The one lawyer is pretty good that asked, the one lawyer that, didn't her, that, questioned her. Yeah, I liked him, but the other one, I don't know. It's just like, come on. Like, it takes forever to get a sentence.
Well, sometimes I feel that in my days a lot,
You want to make sure that you're saying the exact, the correct.
Yeah, but you gotta see. He says like 20 times in one sentence. Like, to think about. You just have to see.
Yeah.
And while look, I'm probably doing that today because I feel like I
He
don't
says,
have my notes.
and I'm like, yeah. So, yeah, no.
So, I know I say too, but it's just, I do it a lot too. I know I do, but it's just, he does it, he's really slow too. And he's a lawyer. I'm not, I feel like I have trouble finding
It's too lawyer,
But
slow.
it's just, it does make you when you're watching this, because you're watching like an 8-hour-a-day trial, and you're trying to watch it all, so it does get kind of frustrating. Like, come on, ask it, you know? There you go. But I don't know. I pray that. I hope the jury doesn't find her guilty. I really don't, because I think it was reasonable. She obviously thought she was in her apartment, and I know that's not the only issue. The other issue is, why did you have to shoot him? Why couldn't you have taken cover, called for backup? But it was like an immediate threat that she said she was so scared that she thought he was coming after her. I feel like it probably wasn't the best judgment call. It probably wasn't. She probably should have done a million things different, but she didn't, okay? She acted maybe not the greatest under a very scary situation. Maybe she didn't act the greatest, but should she have to go to jail for the rest of her life for that? No, she's human. It was a mistake, and I know it costed somebody else's life. I know it. But why take 2 lives? I mean, why cost her life, you know? Why put her in jail for
So
her?
now you're going to want to go and watch all this drama.
No, there's a lot.
Well, I mean,
Because there's a lot of the cops and the Dallas Rangers that are testifying.
I'm like, bounce
The
back.
prosecution I just want to punch them. They make me so mad. I'm just sitting there like, I want to yell things. I'm just like, or I want to like object to them and be like, why don't the defense play it back and do what they're doing? Oh man, but probably because the judge keeps taking the prosecution's side. I don't want to say always, but most of the time she does. And it's just making me so angry. Because obviously this girl is not a killer. I mean, I know she made a horrible mistake, but... So no, this is another thing. Okay, so after the shooting, the sergeant takes her out of the scene, you know, and takes her downstairs and he goes to pull up a car. Well, in the meantime, off-duty officers are already there that are her friends. But she said she didn't call them. Whenever they were there, somehow they found out. So by the time the sergeant pulled up, Amber was talking to him and hugging him and stuff. You catch it on some of the cameras. And supposedly, after this happens, they're not supposed to have to talk to anybody. So but all these things that the prosecution's pointing out, it's not Amber's fault. She didn't ask them to be here. You know what I'm saying? It's almost like they're calling how everybody else did stuff wrong, but why is she being punished for what everybody else did wrong? So anyway, they put her in the patrol car, in the sergeant's patrol car, and so there's cameras in the patrol car. Well, the Dallas something, what is the Dallas something? I remember I told you where they call the Dallas, like it's almost like a...
The garbage?
No, it's somebody that then they're with him until her lawyer gets there or whatever. I forget what they call it now.
Basically
almost like
a babysitter.
Like if you're like,
making
maybe
sure.
the cops have a union or something like that.
Oh,
like
yeah,
they have,
okay, I get you.
You know, something kind of like that, where it's typical for officers involved in a shooting to have somebody there, whatever the representation, and it's allowed to not be recorded. So he asked the sergeant to turn off the cop car video or whatever.
It's allowed not to be recorded?
Yeah, supposedly it is, and supposedly the thing is supposedly this has been going on for years. That this is how it operates. But why now? When for this case, the prosecution is fighting it. Like, this is how it happens. Officer involved shootings, they call the person, he comes, and it's allowed to, like, not be recorded. Like, it's a private, like a lawyer, you know, you're allowed to have that privacy. And so he asked the sergeant to turn off the, what is it called?
The body cam.
No, but in the car.
No, the
dash cam. So I asked him to turn off the dash cam. So she does, the sergeant does, not Amber. So why, and see, this is all looking bad on Amber. They're like almost blaming her. Well, they shouldn't have turned it off. But did Amber ask to turn it off? No. asked the sergeant turned it off. So why is why is it?
See, I think that shit should be changed. I think every bit.
But no, that's just the way it operates.
I
They call
get
and then
it.
to her lawyer comes and she's allowed to have privacy. She's allowed so that she doesn't have to be recorded. So then the prosecution's like, but if you picked up like a civilian and they were in your police car, can you turn off the dash cam? No, you're not allowed. You keep it running. He's asking a sergeant. But she's not a civilian. She is a cop. So you handle it different. You know what I'm saying? She is a Dallas. I know that. I'm just saying. She is a Dallas police officer. That's how they do it. So why is it bad that they did it like that for her? That's how they've been doing it for years. So why is they making it look bad that they did this for her? Like she did something wrong. She had no control over that.
Yeah, see, there's something I didn't know that they did, and they practiced.
Yeah, because they get special.
So they do.
Yeah. Whether you think it's fair or not, that's just the way it's been going on. So why are we going to change it and say it's not right when it's been accepted in courts?
Yeah.
It's been accepted. That's how they do it.
Yeah,
so why are they making it seem like she did something wrong when number one, she didn't have control over how they did that. She didn't ask that.
Well, that should be just thrown right out the damn door.
No, but it's not. And it's bullcrap. So it's making her look. They're trying to make her look bad on that because the way that they handled it. They're saying the way that the Dallas police handled it was favorable to her, and they didn't handle it properly.
Okay.
But when that channel is broadcasting it, when they talk to the judge, when she interviews them, not this judge, but other judges, she has a different one on every day, and they talk about it, and they say that's how it is. That's how they've been doing it for years. Why they accept it on other courts? Why is she not accepting it? Or why are they making a big deal about it now? Like, it's just not fair, though. So, and then the defense keeps, they did argue, but Amber didn't have no control over that,
No.
So, anyway, so that made her look bad. Like, the prosecution kept drilling that about, what happened after and how she talked to some other off-duty cops and how they shut off that dash cam, and that's not right because anybody else, they would have kept it on, but she isn't anybody else, she's an officer, so that's why I wanted the defense to say, yeah, but she isn't a garbage man, she isn't a reacher, she's a cop, so that's how those are the privileges they get. That's some of the privileges they get, so.
And we're going to have to bring this up in a different video then because I've got a lot of shit to say about that because I totally disagree. Look, and God knows, if any of you, your viewers, and guys, I'm sorry, this is my opinion, not Tiffany's. No, I don't care what capacity you are. I really don't. I feel that everybody should be given the same freaking treatment, whether you are the judge, a mayor, the president. I feel that you should just be recorded constantly. No, keep the recording private, undisclosed, secure. But no, I don't feel that anybody, just because of their job or their position or the title that they freaking hold, it should be treated differently. I don't. Because the law, you will get the same damn sentence as another person, but you're not entitled. No, I disagree with it. I totally. That in itself.
But that's not her fault.
It's not her fault. And it's a practice that they've been doing.
I don't think they should even bring that up.
No, they shouldn't. No, they shouldn't.
And if the Dallas cops handled it wrong, even if they did handle it wrong like they were supposed to, how is that her fault? Then fine them or do something to them, not her.
No, well, and props to you law enforcement, you firefighter, all you first responders. I give you my highest props, 100%. I'm not saying anything bad at all. I love you. I love you for what you do. I love you for your heart, your soul, your compassion, for caring about people. But it doesn't make you any different than me. You put your pants on the same way I do. Okay? But that is where I feel that we don't differ. I feel that we do not differ. And in that aspect, I feel that, and see, that would be protection against you as well. Well, it could go either way. If you did do something, but I just feel that this is where this shit needs to be. No. nobody should be treated differently. They should be the same damn protocol for any person. You know, I really do. And I'm sorry, if you got, and I'm sure I'll get a bunch of police officers and other people out there saying, this dude's freaking nuts. You know, he doesn't know what he's talking about. I might not know what I'm talking about. But I feel compassionate about that. I feel that everybody should be treated the same as far as the laws and the policy, you know, and the recording and stuff like that. You know, I really do. Yeah, I do. Because when it comes down to it, in the court, when you get down to the crunch and your life is on the line, you know, the jury gets to see this stuff. And it's them people who are relying, who are so, that they're looking for that evidence. And that's a crucial piece of evidence, I feel, that the jury would be able to weigh on. I don't know, I could be wrong. I don't feel wrong for feeling that way, but it might be something stupid. I've had a long day too. But I don't think it's right. I'm sorry, I just don't think so. And I'm sorry,
That's just how they do
that's
it, though.
how I
Yeah,
feel.
I don't know
That's
how I
me.
feel about that. I mean, if they do risk their lives for us, maybe they should get something. It's not huge. It's just they turned off the camera on the action. I don't think that's a huge privilege. I don't know. But yeah, but anyway. But I wanted to point out a couple more things on her testimony.
Yeah, I'm
she
sorry.
cried
I'm
and
sorry.
she said, "No, why are you crying?"
No. I'm tired.
And she's like saying like, "I'm a big piece of crap. I hate myself every day." And she looked out at his family. You could tell she was looking at his family, saying, "I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry." And of course, the prosecution's object. Like the first time she cried, he objected. And then when she looked out and said sorry, which I know maybe that wasn't the question, she shouldn't have been allowed to. But give the girl a moment and object. But anyway, so she looked out and said, "I'm sorry, I don't." And like I forget how what comment she said, but basically saying how she doesn't hate. She's trying to like point out just because a different race, she doesn't hate like different races. And that's not exactly how she worded it. But basically, I don't hate. I feel like a piece of crap every day.
And he objected.
And I feel like I don't even deserve to see my family, and I hate myself every day for this. I hate it. I thought it was real. I really did. But I would like to see what you guys think, like, because I know there's going to be different sides, and people are going to feel really strong on each side. Like, gosh, I feel horrible. I feel that. I feel like she does not deserve to go to jail. That's my opinion.
But I'll bet you we all agree on one thing. It's very tragic.
No, that's why I was horrible.
And this is where it
poor
begins.
boss, I mean, can you imagine? Like,
You can't.
can you imagine you're just sitting in your apartment eating ice cream and some cop, which you probably couldn't even see she was a cop, because the lights were off.
Yeah.
He just had like the light from the TV and the light from his laptop. But the lights were off. That's why she couldn't see.
It is poor.
But yeah, he's just sitting there and he sees somebody comes in and then has a gun pointed at you and shoots you. Oh my gosh, I can't even imagine.
Yeah, could you I feel that the first instinct would be to jump up, What the
Yeah,
hell
that's
are you
what I'm
doing,
saying. Of course, the prosecution at first were trying to say that one of the options was he was sitting down and she shot her. There's no way. Somebody comes into your apartment, of course he got up. There's no way he was sitting down. But you know why? That was because the medical examiner said that the path of the bullet went from the left side, so it went to his heart, to his lungs, to his stomach, to it, and it ended up walking into his back. So it was a downward trajectory. And it nicked his, but look, I think this is up for opinion, it nicked his rib, and somebody, I think the defendants, or somebody asked him, well, you know how when sometimes when a bullet hits something inside it deflects it, and they asked, well, the rib hitting the rib, but it deflected it down, and he said no. But of course that was the prosecution's witness.
Yeah.
See, sometimes these witnesses are biased. I don't care if they are professionals, they are medical examiners, they're biased for who their side or witness for. So him saying no, that it hit the rib, couldn't have ricocheted it down, that could still be a part opinion. That might not be 100% fact for sure that he knows that couldn't do that. Like it still could be maybe a possibility. Him saying it's not because he's on their side, it still maybe could have been a possibility. I think that's just my opinion.
There's a lot of varying factors in that.
But
Yeah,
anyway,
it's very
so
possible.
prosecution, what they were saying said either he was sitting down like this instead of like getting up, and that's why I went down.
Now, see, I can see.
Or but he basically they're saying he was sitting down when she shot him.
What he was okay.
Basically,
Yeah,
or he was cowering behind something,
Yeah, I
like
mean,
cowering like
probably.
this. Come on, like she
Yeah,
would have shot
yeah.
him if he was sitting or cowering. I don't think. I really.
What's her police record like? Is she a good officer?
Yeah, she got promoted to that crime response team, and yeah, she was really. I mean, all the police had people that worked with her had had good things to say about her. She was really good at her job. But I think this broke her. I think she's broken. I don't even think she probably would want to be a complete. This is just my opinion, but I feel like what I saw when she testified, I feel like this broke her so much that I feel like even if they offered her a job, I don't know if she'd even want to be a police officer anymore. Because when they showed her the gun, she didn't even want the gun. Like her reaction to the gun. Wait, no, was there a gun? Wait, where is it? Because he was trying to.
Well, they have her weapon in evidence. So
yeah, because they had her belt. They had her belt or whatever. And the defense she just didn't even want it.
Yeah.
She had this reaction so I don't even think she'll probably ever be able to shoot a gun again. I really do. I think it's affected her so much that she don't even it was like she didn't even want to see the gun, she didn't want to look at the gun, she didn't want to touch the gun. So I don't think even if they would let her, I don't think she'd be able to do anything. I think it just broke her. I really do. I think she's gonna have issues. I think she's gonna have some, PTSD definitely. And she's gonna suffer she might not hopefully go to jail, but she's gonna suffer the rest of her life with this, knowing she killed an innocent man. I think it's gonna, that's gonna be enough punishment, I think, for her. She'll never be able to be fully, happy and fully.
Right, I mean, if this is how it went down, yeah. Like I said, I'm sorry, I gotta keep saying if it is how it went down because I really haven't seen anything yet, so, I haven't watched anything. Yeah, it's, like the police department, the Dallas Police Department, I don't know what their track record is, and I don't know what their history is.
I don't think they would, even if she was innocent, I don't think they would really let her be a police officer. Like I said, I don't even think she would want to. I really think that, that she's broke. I do. I think she feels vulnerable. And the prosecution was trying to say it was all about her, all she cares about is her. And on the phone, because she said on the 911 call, she said, I'm going to lose my job, I effed up, I'm going to lose my job. She said that once, actually, I think. But that made it seem selfish. She was just thinking about her and not him. I'm going to lose my job.
I always wondered about that, but like I said, I'm no psychologist. I've always wondered about that. How.
It depends, I guess, because you have officer relationship. No, but most of them aren't like this, though. It's like when you're on the job and you shoot a bad guy, usually, but maybe you shot him when you shouldn't have. But you know what I'm saying? None of them. I feel like there hasn't been a situation exactly like this.
She says something before. She says, "I'm not really losing my job."
Yeah, she said. Yeah, she tells everything.
Oh my God!
And she's like, she kept saying, "Hey, in there, bud. Hey, bud." You heard her say that a couple times. It's okay, bud. Come on, bud. She called him bud. And she kept saying, I thought it was my apartment. I thought it was my apartment. I thought it was my apartment. Oh my God, I effed up. I'm going to lose my job. I thought it was my apartment. Kind of in that context. And then she keeps, hang in there, bud. It's okay, bud. And then she's like, hurry up. She kept telling hurry, hurry, guys.
Yeah, because at the moment, and I feel that if you're in that moment, it's not realistic that you're going to be like, okay, what about his family? Oh my God, this guy's family.
I know. And so after it doesn't
hit
you don't realize the repercussions. You don't realize all of the everything until she probably didn't even realize that night. When people said after, and that's another thing people were saying after that happened, and then when they caught her in the cams, like when she was in the police car and outside when they pulled up the car, that she wasn't crying and she wasn't emotional. But it probably didn't even hit her. I don't even think it would hit her.
That wasn't intentional.
That was a traumatic situation. Yeah. Sometimes that takes weeks, months to actually sink into what happened. It maybe not even hit her about his family and about that he was going to die. And then at that time, she didn't know if he was going to die either. This was right after. These people like she's
No,
being
she
selfish.
really knew the poor guy. You
No,
know, it's the same apartment.
No, she said she had a lot of people. And nobody even knew her on her phone. Nobody really knew each other. It didn't seem like. No, she said she didn't know, but yeah. So it's like, yeah, she was emotional when it first happened, and then, like you said, people were saying afterwards when they caught her on the like she wasn't. I mean, it wasn't like she was crying, but like you said, you're in shock. I'm telling you, I just don't. You know, I bet you a couple days after, she was in shock and realized, like you just said, it's not like in the moment she's like, oh, his family, oh, this, oh, that. That's just the thought doesn't cross your. Well, I don't know what thoughts because I've never been in that situation, but I'm sure it doesn't cross your mind. I'm sure the first thing that crosses your mind, get help, get somebody here to help. That's the first thing you want to do. And then I bet you after when she's sitting in the car, she's probably just so shocked, just like, you know what I'm saying? Like not even know what numb maybe? Like, you know,
that's why I say that recording should be on, you know.
It was on for a lot of the times. It wasn't until the end when you said. So she was just sitting in there in a car, and everybody said, some people said she was texting, but this is what she was kind of doing. Like you're sitting in the car, think about it. You don't know what to do, and you have your phone. Everybody's so used to having their phones all the time, doing something. And she just kept kind of going like this. I don't even think she was actually texting. I think she was just like, oh my God, probably like, oh, just not what to do. I don't even think she was texting when she was in the car. I really don't. These people that are texting in the car, I think it was just like, because if you watch her fingers, it was kind of just like,
she'll know what
like what the heck, like just distraction. I guarantee she had no idea what she was looking at there. Like, I don't know. I know this was kind of all over the place.
Well, that's okay because it's, you know, that's how it goes.
I know, I didn't take notes on this trial, so I didn't have the right terms, and I feel like I sounded like that lawyer, like, I couldn't think of the right words. So I feel like it's very scattered, and I'm sorry, hopefully you guys kind of followed it. I know probably a lot of you guys that are going to watch this maybe already know about it, so I would love to hear your guys' opinions, what side you're on, and even if you're on, you know, if you do think, you know.
If we do, we go through your comments. That's
just tell me honestly what you guys feel. Like, what do you feel about the testimony? What do you, if you were a jury member, what would you find? Guilty or not guilty? I would not guilty. It's just me. What would you do?
I can't say yet.
Oh, you don't want to.
I can't. I just can't say yet. I gotta see the evidence.
Okay. So, all right, man. I think we're gonna end this one here.
This being live.
I know, December 15th party.
Yeah, Christmas.
Yeah.
Let's do that. That's gonna be great.
We'll have a little live party, like our first our first live back. Well, hopefully you guys will.
For sure. You guys was
all
great.
Right,
Semi hanging out with you. You guys have a good night.
Yeah. Bye, guys.